Hi, I'm Shamika Fox, your Santa Cruz real estate expert, and I am so excited to introduce to you the lovely Jenny Boffy, who is a mortgage advisor with Cross Country Mortgage, and we are going to get to know a little bit about her and her business. Jenny,
Shamika.
how did you get into the mortgage industry?
I got into the business through one of my best friend's dads
And while you were in college?
while I was in college.
So this has been your first career trajectory right out of college?
Correct.
Where'd you go to college?
San Jose State.
Nice. What did you study?
Child and adolescent development.
So how do you apply child and adolescent development to your current job as a mortgage advisor?
Great question. So I was learning and studying about early childhood and adolescent development with the intention of becoming a teacher. So using the skills of teaching, I'm able to help clients by educating them on the process of not only purchasing, but refinancing, and being able to explain the processes in many different ways so that they understand.
I love it. And that's I have lots of favorite things about you. Like every time I hang out with you, I'm like, I love that about Jenny. But last night you were explaining to a group of women in business about your process with helping your clients, and it seemed very natural that you were inclined to educate them, to empower them to make the best decision for themselves and their family. I really admire that. What is your favorite thing about being a mortgage advisor?
One of my favorite things about being a mortgage advisor is helping people obtain the dream of home ownership.
I love that. I'm going to just keep saying I love that after everything she says.
Oh, okay. I love that too.
What have been some of the challenges that you have had to endure in the industry?
That's a great question, Shamika. Challenges in the industry, I would say, have to do with things that are out of our control, right? So the market is constantly shifting. As we know, currently interest rates have made it very difficult, especially for first-time home buyers, to actually enter into the home purchasing market, which is difficult, and it's something that we cannot control, but we have been able to find strategies to still help folks. But I would say, kind of going back into that, another challenge not only are like the shifts in the market that we can't control, but what those clients or prospects are hearing in the media, which deter them from wanting to even begin the dialogue of figuring out, how can I purchase a home, right? So trying to get in front of the media and saying, hold on, I know that's what you're reading or hearing, but let's have a conversation. And many times those folks that are like, oh, I can't, then finally realize, oh, I can.
I love that. See, I keep saying that. I love that.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is that you are, one, ahead of the market, ahead of the curve, and you innovate in order to still educate and serve your clients, so that they, again, can be empowered to make the best decision for themselves. And I agree with you. Like, I'm also in the industry, clearly, and it makes our job more challenging, in my opinion. But if there weren't any challenges, there'd be no growth. So I welcome the opportunity. But the challenge is that negative media is what sells. Nobody is watching the news when it's sunny and the birds are chirping and there is not a care in the world. That media outlet will go out of business. So we have a more challenging job to be able to relay to our clients the actual facts and let them look at it. And then there's really cool things that you get to do on the creative side of lending, like, what about a 2-1 buy down? What about a rate buy down? What about getting a seller credit to help offset the cost of the mortgage so that you can afford? And also, like, no matter what and correct me if I'm wrong, but no matter what our economy is, there's always going to be a challenge. Like the last cycle in the market, what I experienced was that a lot of buyers didn't want to get involved because there was all across the news, these bidding wars, and things are selling for hundreds of thousands above the list price. And so now we're constantly battling the media to educate our clients and to make sure that they have enough information to feel empowered to make the right decision. And sometimes that might be not to buy a house right now. And other times it might be, oh, I had no idea. So I think that's really cool.
That was amazing.
I feel very passionate about educating people.
So am I.
And like giving, like, let's talk about it.
Yes.
Cool. Can you tell me what the process is that you go through with your clients in order to facilitate a smooth and as seamless as possible transaction?
In general, the process begins with setting up an initial consultation, either over the phone or in person in the office. Once we are conducting the consultation, we're going to be discussing income and assets. So those general formalities have to get covered. But what I do is ask a lengthy amount of questions, and those questions kind of have to do with the borrower's short and long-term goals, so that when I am putting together different loan scenarios, different loan options, I am gearing those towards those goals that they have, right? So every consultation is curated specifically for that client. Once we have the consultation taken care of, the client then has the opportunity to take a loan application, have their credit pulled, and it allows me to pre-approve them so that they can move forward. I also create what's called a mortgage analysis that displays to them a few different options side by side, so that they can confidently choose which loan program will fit their short and long-term needs. Once we have kind of dialed that in, then they are free to go make their offers with their realtor. And then once they get into contract, we have all of the information that we need. The process is quite seamless, because a lot of the times what we do is we also take that loan application and all their documents and actually send it to an underwriter ahead of time. So the loan is already being underwritten before they're even making offers. A lot of the time. I love that too.
As a realtor, I love that. It makes your offer also, in my opinion, stand out from somebody who's either just pre-qualified or pre-approved, but not fully underwritten with their pre-approval. Correct. So ask your lender about getting a fully underwritten pre-approval when you are ready to make an offer on a home.
Yes.
Yeah. Has there ever been a moment in your career that you were like, damn, that felt good, because you were able to really educate somebody and they understood and they took action, and that action allowed them to obtain their outcome that they were dreaming of? And if so, what was the moment? I mean, I'm sure there's many, but
exactly.
is there any
I'm
that
like,
like
it happens,
stands out?
It happens a lot. But I guess it feels really good when somebody comes and they just think that there's just no way.
Yeah.
There's just no way, and then you show them the way, and it works out, and they're just so thrilled and like thankful.
Yeah.
And you're like, are you kidding me? Like, I am as equally like thrilled and like thankful that I had the opportunity to do this for you.
Yeah.
Right? So
You're like making American dreams come true every day.
yes. And making American dreams come true every day, not with just home purchases, but I really love to emphasize the fact that I also do refinances, and there's such a benefit in refinancing for a multitude of reasons. And I do think that it's important that once you're a homeowner, that it's important that you're having your mortgage reviewed on an annual basis to make sure that it's still working in your favor, and that if you need to make any changes, that you can always refinance.
I know that there's a lot of choices when somebody is shopping for a home loan and shopping for a lender. What would you say makes you stand out against your competition? You don't have to say anything bad about anybody else, but like, why would somebody want to come work with you?
I think that somebody would want to come work with me because of the individual service that I give to each client. It doesn't look the same for every single client, and I will like roll up my sleeves. I always say sometimes I have to roll up my sleeves and get really dirty to make this work.
And you're willing to do that?
I'm willing to do that. Sometimes the answer is not in front of me that day, and I'll tell the client, I need to sleep on it. And I wake up in the middle of the night going, I got it.
Yeah.
Right? I think
I know. I think one time we were messaging at like 3 a.m. I'm like, what are you doing? And you're like, I just had to crunch numbers. I'm like, at 3 a.m?
Yes. I get jazzed up about it.
That's so
I
cool.
do. I really do. I'm like, I just want to help more people.
Yeah.
I honestly do. There's so many people out there that will just go with, let's say, someone who's just quoting them a really great rate.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, a great rate is not always the best option.
Yeah.
It really isn't, because sometimes to get that interest rate, you're either putting more money than you need it to down, or you're paying an exuberant amount of money to buy down the rate, and in the end it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And so if you are having your clients buy down discount points, it's important that the lender is showing you what's the break-even point.
Yeah.
When does this actually really start making me money?
Right. Smart.
Whereas a lot of people other lenders will just quote the rate.
They're enticed by it.
And that's it.
Yeah. They
There's
don't say
no
that'll
more.
cost you $150,000 in addition to
Yes.
all these other fees.
There's
Yeah.
there's so much. I always feel like I can't give somebody enough information.
Yeah.
I could talk about mortgages all day, every day, and like never run out of something to talk about.
That
It's pretty crazy.
is really crazy, actually.
It's bizarre.
3 a.m. we were messaging about numbers and mortgages. I was like, go to sleep. Well, I think that's really cool. My experience with you has, and like from an outsider's perspective, watching you do your business. First of all, I think that you handle yourself very professionally. You seem to have all the patience in the world, which is very admirable. And I loved what Malaya said last night, that you'll answer your phone, it's a client, and you wouldn't know whether you were talking to a client or a friend with the amount of heart and soul you put into everybody and every transaction and every client that you're serving. So I think that's really a wonderful attribute. So work with Jenny Boffy, your mortgage expert strategist. Have you ever had a year or like a time period in the industry where you were like, that market was the best market I've ever been in? Or is it always like there's a lack of balance?
Something that I've been I wouldn't say working towards per se, but having accountability in any kind of profession that you're doing. But for me personally, having a coach has helped me stay accountable and has helped me stay clearer with like my vision and my goals and my daily tasks. So
that's great.
I would definitely recommend, again, not just anybody in this field, but any field, any profession that you have that you really want to give your very best, you should have a coach.
Yeah, I agree. Michael Jordan had a coach.
Everybody should have a coach.
Do you have a coach?
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
And cut.
Thank
you, Jenny Boffy. If you are interested in having more information on a home loan or refinance, please reach out to Jenny Boffy, your mortgage expert strategist. She will lead you down the path of empowerment. Thank you, Shamika.
Thank you.
I love it.
And cut.
Cut.
And